The truth about women who masturbate, 5 things men don't know. Let's be honest, fellas, most men have no idea just how often women actually pleasure themselves, or the hidden effects it can have on intimacy, relationships, and even their desire for you. We grew up with the myth that women don't do it, or if they do, it's rare. But the truth? It's happening way more than you think, and the impact goes much deeper than just physical release. In today's video, we're breaking down the facts about women who masturbate, from how it shapes their sensitivity, to why it sometimes becomes the only way they orgasm, and even how it can affect their long-term libido and relationships. If you've ever wondered what's really going on behind closed doors, this is the conversation most men need but rarely hear. 1. Women masturbate more often than you might think. Most men are shocked when they learn just how often women actually masturbate, because the biggest myth out there is that women don't do it. That's flat out false. Women have always touched themselves for pleasure, just like men, but the difference is they don't brag about it, they don't joke about it in locker rooms, and they're far less likely to admit it openly. But behind closed doors, it's happening way more than most guys realize. Research shows nearly 3 out of 4 women have masturbated at some point, and a 2017 study revealed that over 40% of women had done it just in the last month alone. Think about that. While you're stressing over whether she's in the mood, there's a good chance she's already taken matters into her own hands. Only about 22% of women report never having masturbated, which means the overwhelming majority do, and many aren't shy about enhancing the experience with toys, with more than half of women reporting they've used vibrators or dildos. The truth is, female masturbation is far more common, frequent, and creative than most men ever imagine. It's just not as openly discussed. While it's common, many women still feel cultural or religious shame about it, which is why they're less likely to openly admit it compared to men. 2. Decreased sexual sensitivity. One of the lesser discussed realities about female masturbation, especially when it becomes excessive, is its impact on sexual sensitivity. Just like with men, when a woman overstimulates herself too often, particularly with high-intensity methods like vibrators set on maximum power, the nerves in the genital area can become desensitized. This doesn't mean she suddenly stops enjoying sex, but it does mean her body might gradually need more and more stimulation to reach the same level of arousal or climax. In practical terms, that can translate to longer time to get turned on, difficulty orgasming during partner sex, or feeling like something is missing. Even when the experience is physically intimate, it's not about demonizing masturbation. It's a natural, healthy practice in moderation, but it's about being aware that balance matters. The takeaway here is this: overindulgence can quietly reshape your sexual baseline, but self-awareness and intentional practice can keep pleasure both satisfying and sustainable. 3. For some, it's the only way they orgasm. Here's a fact that most men don't realize about women and orgasm. For a lot of women, masturbation isn't just something they like to do. It's the only reliable way they can climax. When a woman says, "I can't orgasm," what she usually means is, "I can't orgasm from penetration alone." That's because the majority of female orgasms are clitoral, not vaginal, and that's where solo play comes in. Through masturbation, whether with their hands, a vibrator, or another form of direct clitoral stimulation, women often unlock the kind of pleasure that penetration by itself rarely delivers. And this isn't some kind of flaw, it's biology. In fact, research shows that only a small percentage of women can orgasm consistently from penetration without clitoral involvement. So if she needs her own touch, or a toy, or that specific kind of stimulation to finish, it's not a weakness. It's not a problem, and it's definitely not a reflection on you as a man. What it really means is she understands her body well enough to know what works, and she's giving herself permission to enjoy it. The real key for men is to drop the ego, stop comparing, and instead use that information to your advantage. If you can work with what her body actually responds to, instead of chasing some porn myth about penetration being all it takes, you'll unlock deeper intimacy, better sex, and way more satisfied women. 4. Frequency is rising. One fascinating fact about women who masturbate is that the frequency has been rising significantly in recent years, and it says a lot about where society is headed. Modern studies reveal that women today are far more open to self-pleasure, compared to past generations, with over 40% admitting they've done it in just the last month alone. Think about that shift. It's not just about physical release. It's about women taking ownership of their bodies, breaking free from shame, and normalizing pleasure as a part of self-care. For many, masturbation isn't just a guilty secret anymore. It's a stress reliever, a confidence booster, and in some cases, even a way to understand what truly satisfies them before bringing that knowledge into their relationships. If anything, the rising frequency tells us that women are learning to prioritize their own sexual well-being. And that's a truth men need to pay attention to, because a woman who knows her body is a woman who comes into intimacy with clarity, self-awareness, and higher expectations. Surveys undercount female masturbation because of shame, question wording, and sampling bias, so published stats usually underestimate how common it is. 5. Lowering libido level. Here's the brutal truth most men miss. When a woman's libido suddenly drops, it's not always about you, the relationship, or attraction. It can sometimes be the byproduct of excessive solo play. When masturbation, especially with high-intensity toys, becomes her go-to outlet, her brain gets wired to expect that kind of instant, concentrated pleasure. The slow, sensual buildup of real intimacy can start to feel less satisfying by comparison. Over time, that conditioning lowers her overall sexual desire, not because she doesn't care for her man, but because her body has been trained to respond differently. This is where a lot of men panic, thinking she's bored with them or, worse, losing interest in sex altogether. In reality, her libido hasn't disappeared. It's just been dulled by overuse. The warning here is simple. If you notice her pulling away from intimacy, always craving alone time, or showing less enthusiasm in the bedroom, don't ignore it. It might not mean she's checked out of the relationship, but it does mean balance is missing. And balance is everything, because when solo pleasure starts replacing partnered connection, it slowly kills the spark that keeps desire alive between two people. Conclusion. At the end of the day, brother, female masturbation isn't a dirty secret. It's a reality, but like anything in life, balance matters. Too much can reshape desire, rewire the brain, and shift the way intimacy plays out in a relationship. And if you don't understand it, you'll misread the signs, take things personal, and end up frustrated. But if you do, you'll know how to navigate it, adapt, and build deeper intimacy instead of losing it. So if this breakdown gave you perspective, hit that like button to let me know it added value. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your experiences and your take on this. And if you're serious about leveling up your understanding of women, intimacy, and relationships, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we go deeper than the surface here. Around here, we talk about truth, growth, and how men can win in every part of life.